Breaking Saints rumors, Who Dat Nation. The New Orleans Saints are making a push to sign wide receiver Cooper Kupp. This is why you subscribe. This is why you tune in, because it doesn't matter if it's news. It doesn't matter if it's rumors. We're going to break it down. It's worth noting the Cowboys, the Seahawks. I've also heard a little bit of chatter about the Packers. I don't know if I believe that. But also the Saints are in the market for Cooper Kupp. Welcome to Saints Now. My name is Trace Girouard. Hope you guys are ready for today's show. Let's dive into Dianna Russini's report as well. This was said on her podcast. With that being said, so you have teams. I can tell you the Seattle Seahawks are poking around on this thing. The Packers are looking at this. The Saints, they got their eye on it. That is pretty cool. That is really interesting. There's a big move coming. I think it could happen very, very soon. If you want the New Orleans Saints to sign Cooper Kupp, like this video, hit the thumbs up icon, and tell Mickey Loomis to make this move. Now, in terms of whether or not I would make this signing, I'm all in on signing Cooper Kupp, but it has to be for the right price. I have been saying this the entire time leading up to free agency and throughout free agency. The Saints need to make smart contracts. Don't overpay players that you aren't going to get good production for. And I think thus far, the Saints have done a good job of spending their money wisely while still also adding to their team in a great player like Justin Reid. Now, obviously, some of the contracts that the Saints have made, are questionable or in terms of what the fans feel. But, if you get good production out of guys like Juwan Johnson and Chase Young, then you can really turn that money into a really, really good deal. Dianna Russini, she had some context in terms of what the price may be. $13 to $14 million is what he's seeking. That being said, I've also seen stuff out there saying it could go for $10, $11, $12 million, even that. So we'll have to see what happens in terms of signing Cooper Kupp. I think that this could be a good decision, but I'm not really sure if I want to pay $13 to $14 million, considering the fact that he turns 32 years old in June, and he hasn't been able to play a lot of football. He's dealt with a lot of injuries over the past 3 seasons. He's missed over a third of games over the last 3 years. And, last year, not terrible production, but in terms of what he's done in his previous seasons, his last time having over 1,000 yards was in 2021 when he almost eclipsed 2,000 total yards. Since then, he's had 5 touchdowns in 2023, 6 touchdowns in 2022. I think that this is a player that could add to the wide receiver group, which quite frankly needs more depth. The Chris Olave move, or having him at your wide receiver 1, I like it, but I would prefer to him to be like a 1A. I will say I don't like Kevin Austin Jr. being a wide receiver 2. No, nothing against him, but that was a player who got a lot of run because of injuries, and I do think that Rashid Shaheed is a great option as a speedster downfield threat, even use him in the slot, but I think Cooper Kupp could be a nice complement to all of the players on the wide receiver group. If you look at that depth chart again, it's a very young group. It's a very young core, and I think that that's a good thing. But they need some veteran talent around them in order to be able to just be that veteran presence, be a leader, be a resource, be a mentor, if you will. And I think that Cooper Kupp could, in terms of the football play, be a good complement for Chris Olave's skill set. You're not going to ask Kupp to come in and have over 1,000 yards. You realistically have him come in, he gets 700 yards. I think that's really, really good. Of course, 1,000 would be awesome, but last year, again, 710 yards, 6 touchdowns, If you're able to match that for 10, 11, 12 million dollars, I think that that's 100% worth the money. And, I think that also benefits the wide receivers on the depth chart that are young and could use a mentor like Cooper Kupp. Now, I will tell you this, if Cooper Kupp does sign with the New Orleans Saints, we are going live here on Saints Now by Chat Sports. I will make a video. I'll post it on social media ASAP, but we'll be live on YouTube very quickly after. So be sure to subscribe to the channel. Turn on your notifications. That way you are notified. Make sure they're set to all so you actually get the push notification, because we post a lot of content, short form content. We go live multiple times a week. We put out daily videos every single day. So that's why you should subscribe. A lot of great content throughout the offseason and the regular season. Now let's go back to Cooper Kupp's production over the past few years. This is a player who is a still talented guy. He just missed a lot of games over the last few seasons. 12 games played in 2024, and so or that's the same, excuse me, in 2023. In 2022, he only had 9 games played, but in 2021, he had 17. I still believe that the New Orleans Saints can benefit from bringing in Cooper Kupp. Last year, the Saints suffered big time because there was a lack of depth on the roster. And when you have players like Dante Pettis, again, I don't want this to be a hit piece. I don't want people to think I'm knocking these players, but when Dante Pettis, Kevin Austin Jr., MVS off the couch, who shout out him, he was awesome, but when those guys are coming off the couch and giving you production that at a higher level than your starters, it's because they're out due to injuries. It's just not what you want. You need to have high-level talent. You need to raise the overall skill level of the offense in general, and I don't think you just sign Cooper Kupp and don't address this in the draft. You still have to address wide receiver in the draft because you need young talent. Cooper Kupp, like I said, he's going to be 32 in June, so he's not going to be around for a long time. You still should draft a player. I mean, look at the receiving leaders last year. One of those is a wide receiver. Granted, Chris Olave missed a lot of time due to injury. But one of your leading receivers is a wide receiver. 2 of them are tight ends. One of them is a running back. I still think that getting over 500 yards from a running back is excellent. Getting 548 yards from Juwan Johnson, I would like to see more, but I still think that that's pretty solid. Foster Moreau was very effective as well. But, I want to see more from him too. My point being, your leading receivers cannot be 2 tight ends and a running back and then your wide receiver 1. You need to have more wide receiver depth. You need to have more bodies on the roster that can perform at a high level when they're available. The big thing with Cooper Kupp is just being available and bringing him for the right price. Now, if you want to get a new Saints jersey for any of the players that sign or get drafted, or hell, you want a player that's on the roster right now, this Alvin Kamara throwback, this might be my next purchase. I'm getting mine, chatsports.com/Saints jerseys. I encourage you to do the same. We got current players. We got former players. I saw Michael Thomas jerseys on sale for $40 as well with this link. So get started. Chatsports.com/Saints jerseys, throwbacks, color rush, home, away, men, women, children sizes, whatever you want. We got you covered. Link is in the description, comment section of this video. Now, just to kind of round things out, final thoughts. I believe that the Saints are operating to win now. Why? Because that is exactly what they have said. And every move that they've made so far has proven and doubled down on that decision. The Saints are bringing back Derek Carr. The Saints are bringing back a lot of the players that were on the roster last year. They're not blowing things up. They're not absolutely just decimating everything, trading away assets and gaining draft capital. They're not blowing everything up. They are operating to win right now. Kellen Moore wants to win in his first year. If you sign Cooper Kupp, this is a move that can help do that. But there are also other options out there. You can go with Amari Cooper. You can go with Stephon Diggs, Elijah Moore, Keenan Allen. And, of course, there's other options as well still in free agency. But then, of course, you have other needs like cornerback and offensive line. So guys like Mekhi Becton or Asante Samuel Jr. come to mind, or Stephon Gilmore. Those are players that also come to mind in terms of free agent targets. I will also end on this. I want you to name a wide receiver that you want the Saints to add. It doesn't have to be a free agent. It can be a draft target. It can be a trade. It can be whatever. But name a wide receiver you want the Saints to add. I'm a big believer you have to add to the wide receiver core if you want to succeed this season, because quite frankly, running it back last year and having a plethora of injuries just will not work again. And if you have injuries, you have to have a backup plan. That's just my personal opinion, and that's why you should subscribe. And, that's why I ask you your opinions. We want you to get down in the comment section. This is Chat Sports, not Jersey Sports. So let us know your thoughts down below. And while you're down there, you'll see the subscribe button. If you haven't done it already, hit the big red sub button for free Saints videos by Saints fans for Saints fans. Y'all stay golden, and we will see you guys next time.